You're watching Spotlight, and now we're going to ruin the fakes produced by the Russian propaganda with my next guest, Ruslan Deynychenko, who is the executive editor of StopFake. Mr. Deynychenko, hello and welcome.
Hello.
So, I've noticed that Russian propaganda machine has intensified its efforts in producing different kinds of fakes and spreading it throughout of different media. Am I right in this?
Yes, you're absolutely right, and we observe this for several months, I would say. We see how Russia propaganda bloggers and so-called observers, military observers, they are back on Facebook. They created hundreds and thousands of accounts, and they try again to spread this information that they produce on an industrial scale. But months ago, Facebook cleaned this platform from these propagandists, and they disappeared. They called their audience to Telegram. But now we see that they are back, and they still want to influence Ukrainians.
But what is the purpose of that? Have the propagandist has got the new budget for this year?
Probably yes, and we think that there are not so many victories on the battlefield for Russians. They don't a lot of things to be proud of, so they invest more of their money to persuade people that Putin is the great, everything is going according to plan, and all the narratives that Russian propaganda produces.
So the so-called substitution, yes?
Exactly. So imaginary victories for Russians.
Talking about Putin, why does Russian propaganda machine is trying to create an image of an invincible Mr. Putin?
Well, because Kremlin controls all Russian media, and this is the purpose of this control. This is why Kremlin invests so many billions of dollars in this propaganda machine. He's a god, and this is because the Russian propaganda machine has been working for many years, and they created an image of Putin that nobody can replace him.
But if he is a god, that god loses for a long period of time.
No, not on Russian TV, because Putin, he can't lose. And let me remind you that even the story with the Crimea annexation, only 1 year later, Putin admitted that it was his plan, because 1 year later he was sure that this is his victory and he can sell this victory to his own people. But before that, he never admitted that it was Russia behind this operation. The same with Donbass. They hid it for 8 years. They hid Russia rule in this war because Putin was not sure if it's a victory and if he can sell this Donbass story to his citizens as a victory.
And now let's talk a bit about the so-called hook kick by Russian propaganda, I mean the nuclear threats. What is the purpose for Russian propaganda to use the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant as a way to put pressure into the international community?
You're exactly right, and the main target audience for nuclear threats is Western audience, Europeans and Americans. So every time Western countries are going to provide us with another military assistance, they send Medvedev with nuclear threats, or they publish such stories about nuclear plant in Zaporizhzhia. So they try to scare Europeans, to scare Americans, and but we see that this approach doesn't work.
We have also seen in the previous video about the allegedly doubt between the Ukrainian officials about the supply of Western fighter jets and other help. What is the purpose of that?
Well, here's another target audience, Ukrainians, and they want us to disbelieve in our victory. They want us disbelieve in our partners. So they want us believe that our partners, they will leave us without weapons, and Ukrainians will not be capable to protect their country. So I think the major target audience for this kind of fakes is Ukrainians.
But for me, it sounds a bit strange because I thought that the Ukrainian audience has got a vaccination against the Russian propaganda. We do not believe it.
Yes, but they still invest a lot of resources to influence our society, to split our society, to make us weaker. They cannot do it with weapons on the battlefield. As we discussed, there are no victories for them in Donbass, in Zaporizhia, and other regions. And they try to weaken our society and weaken our resistance.
And we also have got the booster shot of this vaccination with the help of StopFake and Fake Check and Spotlight Ukraine. Thank you for the insights and for the answers. Ruslan Deynychenko, the executive editor of StopFake, was the guest of Spotlight Ukraine. See you next week. Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Latest news, trends, and analytics on all about Ukraine. Like, share, and subscribe. Any questions, proposals, and comments, contact us via email.